Margin.
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 Profit margin. Margin. Margin.
Oh, then never mind. 44%, which is a touch above random by a unfortunately standard margin. Margin.
There's no drugs.
What else? What else has that kind of profit margin? Margin.
There are 24 million people in California that test as a 5% margin of error. That's 1.2 million people that could be the father of that child.
Okay.
There is no margin for error on this one. None. You got it?
Yeah.
Only low. In part, I suppose, because Sam is the least popular scout in the troop. By a significant margin.
Is it decisive? No, of course not. But look, we believe that the polls are within the margin of error and that the senator will win Ohio.
Did I say serious margin for error? I was being generous.
Dollars.
20.
The 5 plus the 5 I stole from Wilson plus the 10 I got on margin.
You're gonna
Yeah. 3 meters from the margin line on the plans. We went through 6 carbon drill bits and the last one just fried. Then my operator starts grabbing his head and freaking out.
I think those are reflective lenses that have fused into the superorbital margin.
It's actually more the coastal margin.
Prompt.
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 His friends aren't very prompt. Maybe that's why they've never been able to catch me.
No, of course not. I just want to be prompt. Prompt Poe. That's what they call me.
My time is my money, Smollett.
Captain Smollett.
And you were not prompt.
Evan, thank you for your thoughtful and prompt payment. It shall not be forgotten.
Where's Jay?
Oh, Jay? I left Jay ass at the pawn shop because he wasn't prompt.
The final part of his message. Be prompt. Your daughter's life hangs in the balance.
If we give them a full profile, it will invariably prompt the inane moral debate about the target being a good person.
You can use a command prompt to enter a guest username.
And unwittingly give us remote access.
Apologies. A woman as beautiful as you deserves my full and prompt attention.
You should be very proud of your daughter. She's prompt, poised, cheerful, vivid imagination, expansive vocabulary.
Cause.
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 So you crashed. Did someone cause you to crash? Cause you to crash?
2 options. Option 1. I shoot you with 50,000 volts, which may cause respiratory failure, organ malfunction, internal burns, and loss of bowel and bladder control.
You've taken an impossible situation and made it worse. This will cause a riot.
Good. Maybe we need one.
But the spirit world doesn't cause the earth to erupt. Or cause the sea to rise up in a tsunami.
I think the idea was you wanting to be part of the house.
Just because I keep to myself doesn't make me an asshole.
I know.
During the code, after his heart had stopped.
It wouldn't have had time to cause the ischemia.
So as far as what's going on, Watson...
Yes, your imprint. Got it.
Yo, pretty sure I got a cause of death.
You mean besides massive blood loss?
Gunshots, plus his wallet, phone, and key card of some kind.
Is the cause of death what it looks like?
Yep. Someone put a leash around his neck and pulled.
It was the United States Navy. Of course you are. Still, that we're here is cause to rejoice, no?
I'm gonna stay here with you. There's plenty I can do for the cause here on the ground, and I'm not gonna leave you again.
Paul?
Yeah, same story across county food mart, sparks, and everything.
What could cause that? Twister?
Aside.
Aside. Aside. Aside.
Aside.
A source we talked to intimately involved in Palin's vetting admitted that aside from those they talked to involved in so-called Troopergate, they didn't talk to any character witnesses in Alaska.
Are you saying I can't be tactful?
You know, if he says something when we play tennis, I will take him aside, man to man, and say that's not cool.
Are you saying I'm not tactful?
Okay, let me see. Yeah. Okay, kidding aside. Howard, you are a good friend, and I wish you nothing but happiness.
Unbelievable. You two are unbelievable.
What's up your corduroys?
Don't you see the problem here?
You breaking out on your forehead from all the popcorn butter?
Aside from that.
Good grip. The goats like that. You will be the most popular goat milker in the village. Aside from me, of course. Okay, whoa.
That's not gonna happen.
Why not?
Aside from you blinding me? You know, several weeks ago, you freaked out in my house.
Get easy. Easy. Step aside.
Look, all kidding aside, the most important thing here is that your daughter goes back to school and that your wife gets to save face.
Is he a good person?
Aside from the adultery, yes.
No. Then it's easy.
Good to see you. I mean, aside from being on every TV and news channel in the country. Too much? Just as long as you remember it's not about you.
Behalf.
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 To be kind of independent there also, and I thought if I'm going to truly run the state, behalf the people, behalf the people, behalf the people, I'm going to have to do it without that good old boy network.
On behalf of scientists everywhere, I am ashamed to count you amongst us, Fafield, really.
Well, may I say, on behalf of those who have had to fight their way up and who don't feel guilty about it,
which compelled her to deliver this statement.
But on behalf of the 503 lives that were extinguished that day, I say, Moira Queen, your remorse comes too late.
I think I speak on behalf of my colleagues when I say you've been a gift for us, Barry.
On behalf of the United States Armed Forces, I order you to stand down.
We're not Hydra. We're agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Tell them you're speaking on my behalf, and let them know they need to disband for the time being.
Disband?
I'm willing to go on your behalf.
No, it's too dangerous.
Ricky, you just got here.
While serving a life sentence in the penitentiary.
On behalf of the United States government, we'd like to return this property to you, its rightful owner.
Speaking on behalf of the entire U.S. military, you ever set foot in this part of the world again, you are going to be in it up to your neck.
Creative.
Creative. Creative.
Creative.
Creative.
No one's better. More creative. More creative. More creative.
But if someone has a high IQ, it almost always results in creative genius. Creative genius. Creative genius.
2. John Bruno, military assassin, became an obsession discovering creative ways to kill, creative ways to kill, creative ways to kill.
Charming.
And because Alexis Link said that if we were still single in 10 years, we'd get creative.
Repetition of the last one. And there's an interesting observation, a creative act of memory.
Stereo, speakers so loud they blow women's clothes off. Now you're talking.
$35 million, you can't get more creative than that, man?
Let me get a word in.
Okay, I know what you mean. There's this guy in my Society for Creative Anachronism group.
But then you left that home to follow an artist, even though, as you say, you have no creative aspiration.
Okay, great. Well, you know, Blondie's going to be there with backup.
We just gotta get creative.
2007, Senior Associate in June 2007, and finally Associate Creative Director in March 2008.
Art, and you've got that covered, and then there's the making connections. That's like the creative part, the art, right?
Oh, I suppose so.
Some artists, they need the drugs to fuel the creative stuff.
I'm here. No longer with them. creative differences, I'm afraid.
Settlement. Settlement. Settlement.
Settlement.
Settlement.
No, I can't do that. I appreciate you wanting to protect my settlement. My settlement. My settlement. It's very kind of you.
Look at these bills. They're not even paying John's overtime.
Because they want to starve us into a settlement. Settlement. Settlement.
Yeah, I'll get back to you. They want to talk settlement, settlement, settlement. They know we've lost our First Amendment argument.
We'll wait. We'll wait for the settlement.
Like a settlement, come on.
Right after my company went public, my partner's wife left him and took their 2-year-old daughter. She used the little girl against him for a huge settlement.
We're working out the details, but it looks like the settlement will be more in the neighborhood of $2 million, not $20 million.
Is that good?
How do we get Caffrey out of there?
He passed me a message through Sophie. We need to put the entire insurance settlement in Neil's bank account.
What, you were throwing the case for Denny?
Well, it was just a way out.
A way out of what?
Think of this more as a settlement.
I read about your settlement with the state.
Globe. 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 Globe.
Do what Lila did. I'd quit, sell a house, and bum around the globe. Globe. Globe.
And look! There's Mario in England! Hasn't anyone here ever seen a globe? Globe. Globe.
This is what I do. You understand? I move things from point A to point B all over the globe. All over the globe. All over the globe.
Get inside his head. Shake it like a snow globe. A snow globe. A snow globe. It's a globe. Every step you're taking away from home, you're actually going back.
All right. Let's create a work of art.
Be the talk of thieves around the globe.
This is all there is left. This ocean and this place here. We are stuck in a bloody snow globe.
Yeah, apparently he's a big deal. He won a Golden Globe.
Well, you win an Oscar, you buy a Golden Globe.
Your magic globe didn't give you an apartment number?
It doesn't work now.
Reproduce.
Reproduce.
Reproduce. Reproduce.
Reproduce. Has only two solutions: be immortal or to reproduce. Reproduce. Reproduce.
In the Mediterranean, one of the last refuges of the species which comes here to reproduce. 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 The sardines only live a few years. They reproduce rapidly. They reproduce rapidly. They reproduce rapidly.
Would you rather sell one $500 painting or 1 million cheaply reproduced posters?
Remember.
One of your memos, yes.
The point is that the painting is so
rarely reproduced. I don't even know if I've seen a reproduction, in fact. And
Valfierno commissions Yves Chaudron, the world's greatest forger, to reproduce the Mona Lisa 6 times imperfect.
Who will otherwise reproduce too fast and become too numerous.
Clan, your only achievement was being born into nobility. And you somehow failed to reproduce even that.
Osmia avicata is its own species, which means it should not be able to reproduce with other kinds of bees.
It's almost impossible to reproduce without the company's consent.
so if you can't reproduce the color, that means the thieves stole an APD truck.
But I don't
What facet of my being would suggest that I have any desire to reproduce? Is it my optimistic outlook?
Former.
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 Hospital, former hospital, former hospital. In the 1100s.
Check out this guy who I can only assume is now a former money manager in San Francisco.
I expect you to return the palace to its former glory. Former glory. Former glory.
Okay, former bandits, we are gonna prove that you can do honest work.
Your former friends won't be happy about your betrayal, you know.
I did what I felt was right.
Thomas Beckett, former U.S. Marine. Who are you?
I suppose now you understand how I know you from an employer.
As a former chancellor, no one knows more about Project Exodus than you do.
She's your friend,
She's not just my friend. She's a former member of the council and the most respected person in this camp.
William Talkman, former encryption engineer at, wait for it, Cord Enterprises.
Oh, I'm sure you saw on TV. Former employee of mine tried to kill me.
Former employee with the ability to replicate.
Shall be given quarter. Those who don't, you're welcome to follow your former captain.
Former thief? What's a former thief doing in Oz? I've come to steal a potion from a wicked witch that can mend a broken heart. So I guess the former bit was a bit premature.
Beginning. Beginning.
Beginning.
Beginning.
Beginning.
Now start at the beginning. The beginning. The beginning.
I was in this, I guess you could call it a group.
Don't worry, my lady. Our war is just beginning. Beginning. Beginning.
I wouldn't know where to start.
At the beginning, beginning, beginning. This word is egon. When you see A, E.
Did I seem scared the other day?
You were trembling like a leaf.
Only in the beginning. Beginning. Beginning.
Huh. Only in the beginning.
Joe, you had your suspicions about Wells from the very beginning. You thought that he might be the man in yellow.
Now, today, ever since the very beginning, there's been 3 people in this relationship. You, me, and Barry.
All right, then. To new beginnings.
To new beginnings.
What do you get out of this?
A new beginning. And the chance to help you destroy Clear Horizon.
I know a born leader when I hear one. It's only the beginning.
Terrible things that they think you've done. That's just the beginning.
Right. Not to mention Barkov planned to kill the president, too. We should add that to the list.
They was arguing over some corner boy.
Start at the beginning.
Dolly came into the paradise with 5 large.
Rub.
Rub.
Rub. Rub. Rub.
Don't go. I need you to rub my feet. Rub my feet. Rub my feet.
I'm gonna rub your breast. I'm gonna rub your breast. I'm gonna rub your breast when I see you in that dress. I'm gonna rub my own breast when I see you in that dress.
Ooh, yeah.
You don't have 2 words to rub together, do you? This is war. In case you rub some dirt on it and get your ass back in the fight. Spare me, Jed.
When I love you growing up, you're gonna get plenty of porridge, son.
Keep fucking.
Coming after us! Where are they?
Rub a butt on him.
And you're supposed to rub off on me? The jury sees you being friendly to me, and they think I must be.
You know about that, do you?
Wasn't born yesterday, Dad.
Yeah, don't rub it in.
Coach Dawkins and his daughter Amy are waiting for you in the conference room.
You two! I know how you break into everyone's office at night and rub your
What's your point?
There's the rub, dude.
So much for coming in.
It's about time you brought me in here, man. I had to rub elbows with those whiny little troublemakers.
Baby in a hospital.
Oh, rub it in, why don't you?
Oh, no. You ladies need a hand?
Interact. 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 Interact.
You do not talk to her. You do not interact with her. Interact with her. Interact with her. You do not do anything stupid.
This town hall meeting allows the South Central community to interact with the Director of Central Intelligence.
First, I need to see how you interact with clients. Interact with clients. Interact with clients. That's right, you earned it.
Totally understand. Bin Laden uses a courier to interact with the outside world. By locating the courier, we've located Bin Laden.
This part, I'm the only one who interacts with her. and I've been screened for suitability to this particular inmate.
Eddie interacted a number of times with a user named Integer Overflow.
Actors like me to interact with the contestants.
Okay, so maybe only people who've had them are supposed to interact with it.
Which means we probably shouldn't tell Julia that we found this again.
Okay.
Alien metals interact with biology on a cellular level in a way that's impossible to replicate without a sample.
I'm already on painkillers. I not interact well.
Hey, you sure? What do you want?
Approval.
Approval. Approval. Approval. Approval.
Mr. Barkin, the anesthetist?
I have to take this.
Do I have your approval? Approval. Approval.
Let me take this and we'll talk.
It's better to starve Carrie's investigation of your testimony. So, with your approval, at least you'll make a deal on the civil.
They allow manufacturers like ourselves to decide which devices need to be submitted to them for approval. And if a new device is merely a minor modification, then, according to FDA guidelines, doesn't need approval. Doesn't need approval. Doesn't need approval.
Mr. Tuss wishes to make a union with her people through marriage. It is my deepest wish that this win your approval.
Los Angeles has been devastated by a series of tornadoes. On top of that, the FAA wants your approval to suspend all air traffic.
We just got approval for a recalibration of the cell. Who made it? I know we did a recall.
I don't care.
I think you do care. A great deal.
Yeah? About what?
You want approval from your peer group.
Can we do that?
It's supposed to get manager's approval, but I know how to fake it.
Most likely an attack on this facility. I have reason to believe it will occur within the next 24 hours. I am putting division on high alert. As of now, nobody will be allowed in or out without my approval.
The truth. Government's never gonna let 300 former convicts turn assassins just disappear without the president's approval.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Leslie.
Howard, I got the approval for the rapid prototyper you wanted.
That's great, Leslie. Thanks.
Bear.
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 Beer.
If we were in Africa, you would have to leave the village and not come back till you killed a bear. Bear.
None of that is true.
There's no bears in Africa?
No.
It makes no difference now.
I will bear the shame of this genocide forever.
No. You will be remembered as a hero.
It's okay.
My bear. My bear. My bear. Look what they did to my bear.
Sir.
The constant fear. It's more than a man can bear.
Teddy? Teddy bear? You need to go.
Mr. Moyer, not participating?
I'm too sad for the bear, sir.
The Lord who saved me from the claws of the lion and the bear will save me from this.
Poor Giuliano. I cannot bear the thought of Alfonso bringing more death to Florence.
The gel, it soaks the fur, so as long as the bear is wet, it's contagious. So really encourage the child to squeeze the bear.
What the hell? I'm not doing your dirty work for you.
For painful losses. Sometimes it feels like more than we can bear. Yet here we...
Convince.
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 Convince. I want to be that friend. Just give me a few days to convince you. Convince you. Please?
Okay, Poe, but if we're not convinced, we'll be coming for Dao Dai.
I have tried so hard to convince myself that I'm not in loving you.
Video is pretty damning.
No, we just have to convince her.
Seeing is believing, Barry.
Of course it's too high, but if our company doesn't get involved with stuff like this, who will?
Well, convince me in the meeting.
I will.
Can you convince him?
I know there's no way I can convince you this is not one of their tricks, but I don't care.
And for this to work, we're going to have to completely convince her that I hate you.
How do you expect to convince me to do that?
Please?
Relax. Sit down. What are you doing here?
Well, I'm trying to convince Mansfield to give me my job back.
Okay. And I'm trying to convince the sun to cool down.
To kill innocent civilians? I'm not going to convince you I'm right. I am going to convince you to join the team. Yeah, now I know you're crazy.
And he's trying to convince his boss that you're a menace that needs to be stopped. Meet someone who was amazing.
And I did. And you went out of your way to convince her that I was unavailable.
Look, I'm really sorry.
Because of me. What are you talking about? He tried so hard to convince me I was the savior. Stop it.
Partial.
Partial. Partial. Partial.
Partial.
Adding disability and partial and or full amputation to the list.
I found this. Partial plate, 3 blocks from the club. Car's registered to a Slade Wilson. What is it?
OMAC was the Queen Consolidated designation. But I'm kind of partial to ATOM, partial to ATOM, partial to ATOM. Advanced Technology Operating Mechanism. Adam.
Sunday or Monday. Partial information will be treated as a lie. Come on, let's go. Come on, which day is it? Partial information is gonna go in the box, huh? Partial information is treated as a lie. Let's go.
Second camera registered only partial results, insufficient for a positive evaluation.
Prince.
Got a partial on the stamp.
Mike.
You're right. Casa, I think there's a partial print on it.
He was here when my father was murdered. I found his palm prints in the study, partial boot prints in here.
Hey, you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I got a partial plate number off of one of the bikes.
Nice work.
I think I have a partial footprint. You guys see anything?
I can only consider a partial scalp pack if you announce it.
Thorough.
Thorough. Thorough. Thorough.
Thorough.
Well, thanks for letting us look through your stuff. It was great. We are very thorough. We are very thorough. We are very thorough.
She was like that, Julie. She was very thorough. Very thorough. Very thorough.
She had something hidden in this room the killer wanted.
For some dirt on them?
Can't really give you any information about our patients.
I know. Just trying to be thorough. Just trying to be thorough. Just trying to be thorough.
There we go. Almost. I like to be really thorough.
Just stop while you're ahead.
The incidents that occurred cannot be disputed. These particular circumstances will paint a thorough picture of the horrific events endured in Selma.
The number of guards at the airport has doubled. Thorough background examinations should be expected.
Miranda. Savvy hired this guy to look into her for me. Well, granted, he wasn't as thorough as I might have hoped, but he was helpful.
So, why would they check the neighboring security cameras to see who went in and out?
To be thorough?
Really impressive, like Cirque du Soleil level bendiness.
Shouldn't he have given us the takedown by now? He's just doing a really thorough job of making sure it's a brothel.
Oh.
Are these feelings for a person or an animal? I'm sorry, I have to be thorough.
A person.
Then what?
Craig Farron accused the Kresge brothers of being cannibals.
We conducted a thorough search of the Kresge's house, found absolutely nothing.
As
He's working with at least 30 other traders. If he puts it out there, he won't. And why?
Because he's thorough.
Each of you will lead a team of 7 agents. We will be thorough on this.
Infrastructure. Infrastructure.
Infrastructure. Infrastructure.
Infrastructure.
Studying the code to inoculate their devices, or they may be modifying the code to target the U.S. nuclear infrastructure. Nuclear infrastructure. Nuclear infrastructure.
Infrastructure constructed to withstand pandemics even of this foobar magnitude. That means food,
fuel. How antiquated it is. We need to develop a sustainable infrastructure. Infrastructure.
But for some of us who are aware of a particular infrastructure problem facing Majestic, well, we saw a different image.
It's a backup plan I designed into the city's infrastructure.
The embryonic cells of a blue shark can be injected between the vertebrae to form an infrastructure matrix that facilitates neurotransmission.
Yeah, that would give Palant isolation, scale, a power supply. Hey, this is the perfect infrastructure to work from.
I'll call Booth.
Key. It's basically a worm that can bypass asymmetric encryption on high-grade security networks and also allows remote access to infrastructure systems.
It's got to be how Novak's getting himself and the money off the island, using this smuggling infrastructure.
DHS had a fail-safe in place to take control of the cell infrastructure in case of an emergency. Someone hacked it.
It's got an electrical substation, lawyers' offices, and the HQ of an investment bank. Nothing like a critical infrastructure target.
Perhaps I can help. Without companies like Hadwell Corp that build infrastructure, the United Nations would never accomplish anything.
It's only years later on that I found out that they used the travelers' networks, the infrastructure, to slip in and out of London. These puffy bastards.
Effective.
Effective.
Effective. Effective.
Effective.
Fun idea, but not an effective delivery system. Effective delivery system. Effective delivery system.
We are allies, my dear, which can be a good deal more effective. More effective. More effective.
Effective immediately. Effective immediately. Effective immediately. I am resigning the presidency of the United States.
Right. Well, Nelson. Sure, sitting in a room and reading books would be very cost-effective.
Looks funny. This guy could be not just the best pitcher in our bullpen, but one of the most effective relief pitchers in all of baseball.
Drugs meant to keep her from becoming violent, but it was only intermittently effective.
My management style is effective and refreshing.
The Grounders used it as a poultice. I'm thinking a team might be even more effective if we can figure out what it is.
But you'll be stripped of your seat at this table, effective immediately.
But I gotta hand it to you. We're getting the most effective treatments we've ever had.
Waste of time.
I'm trying to teach you something.
What, the least effective way to shoot people?
No. Control.
Sarah, lay us alone. It's your only warning. And it would be effective.
And as friendly as possible. Thank you so much. Equally effective would be taking a drink and share it with them. If they drink any small amount and your saliva mixes, then you are good to go.
Lloyd, and what we need to do to get it there. And that is my signed letter of resignation. Effective immediately.
Logical.
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 After he got here, it's only logical.
Logical. Logical. Logical. Oh, there's a part of the story that you guys think is logical.
Well, maybe not logical, but true.
I won't survive the journey.
Then what do you propose? To be logical. To be logical. To be logical.
Problem. I don't think you'll need much refining. Your case is very strong, very logical, very logical, very logical.
No, you didn't.
The only logical thing to do was to slot the whole McGilla and start over.
Makes perfect sense. It's very logical.
Now, it concludes that the most logical delivery system for the terrorists to use would be an airborne attack.
Any of the questions. So this is the next logical step. I'm sure of it.
Coming over for dinner. This is the next logical progression in our relationship. I went from employee to right-hand man, and now, friend.
I'm hoping there's a logical explanation for all this.
I'm not. This is the logical thing to do.
By what measure?
Sounds logical, other than the fact that Red Skull's been dead for over 70 years.
Attempt.
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 No, Your Eminence. It's definitely going to steal the codex. I can feel it. I'm not sure when.
Attempt to steal, you mean?
But tonight, we will attempt to free her.
He went down like a stone. No attempt to save himself whatsoever.
She described her suicide attempt as a mistake.
Got going.
Oh, come on! You think I would attempt to take over this entire company without consulting legal first?
Order to this review by the Emperor, and yet you reject his word.
I reject any attempt by you to exert some delusional power over me.
So we go easier on the kids. All on a pointless attempt to validate your own upbringing. In your attempt to get your balls back, lax balls.
If you're up for it. Oh, I assure you I'm not. And your attempt to regain self-esteem through sexual intimidation will not repair the dysfunctional relationship you had with your father.
Position and bone destruction from the hydrofluoric acid, I can attempt to virtually regrow the bone.
From prison?
Is this another attempt to bed me? Because Booth and I are fine.
No, not at all.
You heard about my fight with Rick.
He feels terrible.
Is this some kind of disguised attempt to cheer me up?
No. This is about us girls hanging out and, you know.
Awake.
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 That way, when you awake in the morning, you find yourself in your own bed as if nothing had happened.
Glad you're awake. You're awake. You're awake.
I'm Groot. 4 of us. Asleep for the danger, awake for the money, as per frickin' usual.
Try and keep her awake. Can you hear me, Lila? Oh my God.
All right. You're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay.
Dorothea, stay awake. Come on. Up.
Hi.
Hey. You're awake.
It's good to see you, too.
You're awake. Why didn't Starlabs call us?
I just woke up.
Should you even be on your feet?
Iris.
You're awake. You're probably feeling a little drowsy. We gave you something to help you sleep.
He's awake.
Good.
Ben's awake.
What do you mean Ben's awake?
Okay, come on, let's go. Andrew, I've been awake for 20 hours.
Dog? Not much, dog. What's up with you?
I'm here to pick up Casey, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm awake and I speak English, so yeah, I do know.
Part. Part.
Part.
Part.
Part.
Ta-da! It's pretty great, huh?
So pink.
Here's the best part. Here's the best part. Here's the best part.
Here. I messed up. I can't get the part. Nigel wants me to...
You went to Nigel?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, baby. It's really good so far.
Oh, thank you. So, this is the best part. This is the best part. This is the best part.
This is the best part.
Why?
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. Okay, now tell me my favorite part.
Cool, dude. Let's see it.
Okay, cool. Really exciting part. You guys ready?
Yeah.
The schedule is the most important part. It helps you remain oriented.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, okay.
You gotta have her.
Don't look at me, I did my part.
Now we're getting to the good part. Shifu. Kind of a funny time to let loose, but yeah. Are you sure about... Take you to a robbery. Quick and painless. Wouldn't be too sure about the painless part.
You said you were meeting me halfway. This is me doing my part.
Waltzed off in the panic. That's my favorite part.
Most people think the hottest part of the flame is the white part. They're wrong.
Dreams and face their fears. Still working on the talking part.
Disorder.
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 Disorder. Disorder. Personality disorder.
There's a thing called Chinese mall.
I have what's called an access to personality disorder. Disorder.
What's that supposed to mean?
It means when I kill you and your friends, I'm not really gonna feel anything.
I swear, this all feels too real. Way too real.
Sounds like a delusional disorder. Delusional disorder. Delusional disorder.
They think I have schizoaffective disorder with bipolar tendencies. You think you got it?
Which is really, it's a funny word for a neurological disorder, and it makes me do this.
Attachment disorder, the inability to form real, lasting relationships.
His borderline personality disorder makes him overvalue certain relationships. Thank mom and dad for that.
You have a disorder called multinucleate cell angiohistiocytoma.
Question. There are objects and creatures all around us only I can see. You answered true.
You
Schizoaffective disorder.
I'm a harpist with an autism spectrum disorder.
What do you think of the underlying issues?
Depression, bipolar disorder, deep-seated narcissism.